Okay. What have you got?
Conditional acceptance for the streets in Crow Creek, subdivision number 7.
Here's things.
I had a pack of print out for a while.
Final plat and development agreement for Wolf Creek, Division 4.
Where is that?
It is south of 49th.
49th and Ammon Road.
How many lots?
25.
25, right?
Mhm. And then
49.
a couple of unbuildable ones.
It's just east of Ammon Road,
Okay.
south of 49th North.
Oh, 49. Okay,
I was
I was
on
at the other end.
I was
Okay,
too.
I know where it is now. Okay, it's okay with that.
It's easy to do. Go to the wrong one.
49.
Wrong 49th, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that before. You've called me on it. I felt foolish, and then it kept coming back and haunting me.
This numbering system.
Roger's the only one who remembers when that happened, so. He was
No.
involved.
I like it. It's just.
It was changed prior to when I came, and remember it's just Dave Sealander?
Yeah,
He said we were all in cahoots with the devil, because that was the devil's numbering
Says
system.
there's no intersection. It doesn't have a starting point.
Because
There's none.
historical names should be, not be messed with.
It should have said
Oh.
Telford, maybe.
yeah, that one went hard.
Well, I didn't know where it was then. Jefferson County's, I was told their numbering system, because of the way it's numbered.
It
Somebody
starts
just
from
went
here.
out with an arrow and shot an arrow, and then where it lit, that's where they numbered from, because it made no sense.
He tried to find locations up around that Riley area, and they
Yeah.
had addresses duplicate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We wanted to have a minute entry for adopting the Bonneville County Transportation
Rick,
Plan.
yeah. You okay?
Yeah,
Second.
I'll make a motion, we approve the
Okay,
plan.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I don't know if, Caleb, you need a copy here of the whole plan to do that, or the whole thing?
Probably just a copy for minutes, because that would be an exhibit.
Okay, I can get you an electronic version of it,
That's even better.
yeah.
Okay, we've got two things. I don't think this findings will take long, if that's okay, Mike, before we get.
It's fine.
Yeah.
The applicant's not coming, so
Right. I haven't got a paper copy, but I read through it.
I have them for you, paper copies. I can read through it, or if you had no comments, then,
I read it, if you guys have.
and then here's the one for
For
signature.
signatures, I read through it as well, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, well assembled.
Okay. We
Well, I'd make a-
changed the formatting.
Yeah,
So-
I thought it was really good, I'd make a motion, we approve the findings of fact.
Second that.
Okay.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Fast and efficient today.
All in favor, sign. I knew these wouldn't take very long, and that way Michelle can go back to work.
This is just fun to watch. I thought you guys might all hold hands and go this together.
I have nothing to do.
I've never seen them do that.
Well, you never know. It could happen.
I keep waiting for somebody to kneel down in front of us so we can do this.
Okay.
All right,
Hasn't happened.
You do a great job.
Thanks for doing that.
thank
Yeah,
you.
you really do.
I have one more for you, but I'm not there yet, so that'll hopefully be next week.
Wow, I see someone's getting kudos over there.
Did you get ahold of Lance so he knows he's
No,
gonna
I
prepare?
didn't. I just popped in here thinking that,
Let's pull up the road. It's gonna have to be.
Where's it at?
60th first.
60th East.
Let me join.
Okay.
Oh, I know where you live.
Yeah, between Sunnyside on the,
Yeah, I came to a party at your house one time.
Did you
We
really?
did that 60th East party. 'Cause my parents live
Are
up
you-
there.
who are your
That's
folks?
what I was
Who are your
thinking,
folks?
Richard and Angela Black.
oh, no.
So they live in Quail Ridge
They
at
do.
the very
Quail Ridge
end of
North.
60th,
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can pull up a map.
I'll get
You
it
can
up
do
here.
that quick.
Just gotta join the Zoom.
What Mike
By the way, I
has-
haven't been introduced yet. Should I just raise my hand
Oh.
and?
Yeah.
Mike.
I'm Mike McBride, living out in the county on 60th. And know Roger from years gone by, and of course heard of you guys. You can't
I'm
be-
Brian Reed.
Yes, you can't be in the press. and not know who's who.
Hey, Mike had called wanting to know about widening with a bike path on 60th,
60th.
what the options were, and I told him if he had time to get over, have you look at the right of way width, so we know what we're dealing with, and then we can talk
Yeah.
about other options.
Between Sunnyside and 21st. Sunnyside.
So
on the side,
there's
21st
a
on the
portion of that that just has prescriptive right of way, which would be 25 foot from the center line. There's a portion of it that's annexed into the city of Ammon, which probably has more than that right at the edge. And it probably have 60 foot right of way, I think.
It's just that well lot on the corner of
Yeah.
21st and 60th.
But most of it probably, did you
Well, it's
annex
got-
right along the, just south of that, the well lot there was one house there too?
No.
Or
Just that one corner.
just that one corner? Okay. Most of that has not been through subdivision plating, and so I suspect that most of it only has the 50-foot prescriptive.
So Mike, you know, what I'm doing here is I got hit about half a dozen times. I jog on that street because I live on it. I bike on it, and my neighbors do. And of course, we know most of the neighbors there from being there for almost 20 years. And as you all know, we've got all kinds of subdivisions that have popped up around us. The two schools, Thunder Ridge and Black Hills Elementary, and boy, the traffic on that is just ballooned. So I'd like to keep us all alive, everybody that uses that street. And of course, the speed limit's 35, but no one honors the speed limit. I keep thinking someone's gonna jump the hump over there. There's a little hump there. And I thought, my golly, you guys have done such a great job near the elementary school down the street from us on 21st with that bike path. I just thought that is genius.
That's
You
it.
are saving kids' lives, putting the crossing guard there. I said, it's time to save some more lives perhaps on 60th. I think it's just, what, about a half-mile stretch, roughly?
It's a little bit over that, I imagine.
Sunnyside waddles around.
Yeah, so, you know, I've talked to most of our neighbors informally, and they're all in favor of it, so I don't think that's an issue. I can get signatures, but I guess that's not an issue, as much as other things might be an issue,
Yeah.
like
Like
easements.
I said, you know, getting a petition
Right.
probably won't make any difference
Yeah.
on how we look at things. 'Cause
Right.
we have to look at the cost and priority and
Correct.
things like that. so-
That's where you guys get the big paychecks.
And maybe explore some other options, you know, to get it done quicker.
I know they're in the neighborhood, the Quail Ridge neighborhood, you know, the association, which we're not part of, we're technically county. Now we're divided in half almost right there, but they've got their little footpath that runs, snakes are run around there on 21st.
Along 21st.
On
Yeah,
21st,
right.
which
And all the way in there.
which is really nice because you're keeping people off that.
Yeah.
But on 60th itself per se, it's take your life into your own hands and you walk along the pavement there.
What width would it take to get one of those paths like that?
So to get a two-way separated path, you're looking at least 10 feet of asphalt to be kind of the normal standard. And
Quail Ridge.
Quail Ridge, actually, most of that path is a little bit less than that, but some of that's inside the park
Founder's
too.
Point.
Founder's Point, most of that, I think, is about 11 foot wide.
It's a wide path there.
And so, in order to get that wide a path, most likely you're gonna have to purchase right away.
How much?
You'd have to purchase probably at least 10 foot in front of all those property owners to be able to get it there, to be able to construct it and whatever.
Which
So-
I'll be right honest with you, with all the other road projects on 45th, that's not in the budget. But here's where we could explore some other options, like, if all the neighbors are in favor of it, getting to dedicate that, for example. And then it comes down to the construction cost. Sure.
So there's
Up there that could help
certain
put that together.
funds out there called Transportation Alternatives Program, or Transportation Alternative Plan, or a bicycle pedestrian type of application, a grant application, that we could possibly go after and ask for.
That's what BMPO is, not.
It's through BMPO.
Okay.
But going to BMPO and putting in an application for that, it goes into a statewide competitive pool, and whether that actually meets the criteria or not, I mean, it's kind of a few years ago, I put on one along Iona Road to try to get to Rocky Mountain Middle School, and that did not pass the muster, did not get funding. And there was quite a bit more pedestrian traffic on Iona Road through that stretch than there would be on 60th.
What would the cost of constructing that be, the path itself without right of way?
It was 0.67 miles.
Yeah,
Just
to the
I bet-
bend, so
I
it's
bet
probably
you're
about
$500,000.
Whoa.
Just for
Plus.
the path?
Yeah,
There's a fair amount of buildup. I drove that. Either
there's
side
a
of it,
lot of
there's-
topography
Yeah,
right there.
slopes
Jeff.
off a lot.
Do you want me to go past the hat when I have our next neighborhood meeting?
Well, that's why we're trying to figure out how big of a hat you would need.
Since we're,
I
I
mean,
say that with tongue in
that-
cheek,
I
but yeah, we
know.
got, we got doctors and so on along the
Well,
way.
$500,000 would be just if it was on flat ground, and up there, it's
Lot of
probably, there's a lot of fill and a lot of
Or the bike
ravines
path
down
has
through
to
there.
do a lot of this.
What did,
Well, it
which
still
is
would do
okay.
that.
How did you guys do yours?
I was gonna say, so we have a grant on 21st Street right now, to put a bike path in
Really?
from the cottages down to Crowley and crossing the canal.
Oh, whoa,
And that will be constructed this summer.
that's good news.
We were trying to get enough money to go all the way to Quail Ridge Park, and we're just about there. We're only about $75,000 short. But if that, I was just thinking, and then we got that from the Child Pedestrian Safety funding.
Is that state or federal?
Yeah, state.
State funds, some of it comes through federal, but it's
Yeah.
through a
But it
grant
would
program.
really help if the paths connected. That would make the application a lot stronger. And the reason we couldn't quite get it to 60th, and in fact, our goal was to get it all the way up to Quail Ridge Park and run it down to Rimrock, but we just run out of funding. But that is our goal, and we have it designed all the way to Quail Ridge Park. The Quail Ridge HOA, they were really excited about it initially, but as it turns out, I don't have any money, and so.
Well, maybe the politics is right nationally. I wonder if we can get a grant from the US government.
Well, that's,
I don't know.
yeah, that's
I'm just-
a possibility too.
Just exploring.
Yeah, we just, in Ammon, we also just got a Safe Streets for All grant. And that's a planning grant for the entire city. In fact, Bonneville counties will have some sections of that. And that will probably open a lot of doors for bike paths and pathway planning. So that's something we could look at, Lance, to add 60th into that plan.
Do you know Micah?
I don't. I just
Micah
met him, he almost had a strip shirt on
Yeah,
this
he's-
morning
that's
as he
right.
walked in.
He's
They're
the
really
city
good.
administrator for Ammon.
City. Last name again?
Austin.
Austin. Lance, what your last name? Bates.
So we
Good
would
people to
certainly
know.
support a pathway there, and if it could connect, that would be ideal. And that's where the state's putting more of the money, is connecting subdivisions to subdivisions, or the city center to other subdivisions outside of town.
To be quite honest, it's gonna take something like that, because we don't have the funds in Road and Bridge.
Yeah.
You know, because the hundreds of miles of rural type roads, you know, we couldn't afford to put bike paths on all of them.
Well, yeah, I understand there'd have to be some kind of pecking order.
Yeah,
You-
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if how many injuries or how many deaths have to occur before that moves up the ladder.
and unfortunately.
It's
that's
gonna happen.
Pecking orders on streets and intersections and things like that, you know, it's just not the funding. I mean,
Right.
we've set money aside for several years to get the roads we're doing. You know, because when they passed the unintended consequences of passing a school bond for Thunder Ridge, you know, and even the growth in Ammon and the growth in the county subdivisions there's no impact fees or nothing to build out the roads. You know, you've seen the work going on 45th.
Right.
That's $18 million project.
It'll be,
Wow.
between right-of-way, construction cost and engineering, it'll be over 20.
And that's 3 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's what we're dealing
It's
with.
tough math.
Well, I was gonna say, people just don't understand how much, unless they come and visit with you guys, how much money it costs.
And the price has gone up because of oil
Right.
and then there's a lot of funding going into roads that are keeping all the contractors busy, so they like to make money, kind of like attorneys do. You know, you don't do everything pro bono.
No, we don't. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
We try to do a little along the way.
But, that's
So-
what we thought, we'd kind of lay things out for you, and there are solutions. I was gonna say paths, but that's kind of.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. But there, you know, there are ways to at least start exploring.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. So it sounds like my contact point's right here. So I
Yeah.
can get on the phone, chat with you guys, and just, cause I'm a newbie to all of this. After the near misses, I've said it's time for someone to say something before someone gets
Well, the
hurt.
easiest path maybe to try to join on to the existing application that City
Yeah.
of Ammon already has.
You think so?
Especially if it connects
Well,
the,
Maybe.
Not to muck you up at all.
That one's been awarded.
So then you probably can't add to
Yeah,
it.
I don't think we
So
can,
it'd be,
but there is gonna be more money though.
Have to make a new
And that-
application.
And those
Yeah,
applications usually happen in November, December timeframe, and they get going into the system. It's usually, what, April, May before you
Yeah.
hear whether it's made it in, and then it gets programmed, and it may be 5 years down the road before the money's
Going
actually
south.
available.
See, First Street east of Ammon, you know, we're working with Ammon to get the part from Hill Road
Right.
up to Ammon Road, but then the next mile east, we've had that in the system.
It's been in the system
2 or 3
for
years.
design for about 3 years now, and we're finally getting going on design. Construction dollars aren't set aside until at least 2026. And that's an earlier one. We've got some that are out there in 2028.
Okay. Well, again, I'll follow up with you gentlemen on contact points, and you could, again, keep directing me on where money might be and how to proceed on it.
Of course, the other option is just to get the cost and say we've got 15 wealthy landowners, here's your share. You know, it'll probably only cost them 70 to 100,000 apiece.
You know, one thing you can.
Who
do-
knows, Roger? We might be
Austin's
surprised, we might be surprised at that.
But
If I could get Ed Bidoff on board,
I say
a
it
lot of
tongue-
people might follow.
I say it tongue in cheek, but that is an option, you know?
Yeah,
And really, that's what Quail Ridge,
you've
Founder's Point.
you've got some, you do, there's no doubt about it, there's dollars out there. And,
That's
might be
actually
an
one thing
idea.
you can do to help, because when we were planning our path on 21st, we got approval from everybody on the south side, including Ed Bidoff, by the way. He was fine as long as we provided him access to his field there. But on the north side, it was a brick wall. And there
Really?
will never be a pathway on that north side as long as those same landowners own and live on that property.
I'll be golly.
Yeah, so that's why that path's on the south side. So getting your neighbor's support is huge.
Okay, okay.
And right away, donation goes a long ways because, you know, there'd be a pretty good cost to that.
That looks really good on applications.
Yeah, the more match you have.
Well, again, I'm a newbie at all this, so I'll be in contact and see what I can do on the ground level.
Okay,
I appreciate you giving me a little bit of time here.
and holler anytime you need.
Yeah.
You got my number.
I do.
Maybe if you annex it all into Ammon will
Since
just
I
pay
know
for it
it's
for you.
Is that right?
We would get the right of way.
There's been some fights over that already, or it's not yet?
No, I mean, we honestly, we would love it. But what I mean by that is when we annex property, we always require that a certain amount of right of way is dedicated. And like Lance said, the challenge on 60th and some of these other roads is it's an easement. You know, there's no dedicated right of way. And so annexing does clean up some of these, you know,
Issues.
jurisdictional things, yeah.
Hmm.
If it were a platted subdivision, we would have already required the easement.
Gotcha.
It's not.
Which the north portion to the west of Quail Ridge is platted, but it's old, so I don't think we required right away like we do now.
No. And good luck getting Scott Tallman on board with any of that.
Maybe if he can put a hip sip up there, he'll pay for the
You mean
path.
Well, I happen to know him quite well.
I like Scott.
I might have to put him in a headlock. He's bigger than me.
Or challenge
But I'm-
him
but I'm-
to a foot race.
Well, something where I know I can win.
He's
You know.
He's a fitness buff.
That it's a foregone conclusion. As long as I can get the bed in writing. Well, thank you for
Okay.
giving me a few minutes. I
Right.
really do appreciate that. Then I'll be back in touch, see what I can
Yeah, we
do.
bill in
Be-
6-minute increments, so,
Do you work on a contingency fee, Roger?
sure.
It's double the price though.
Yeah, really. It's a lot cheaper to do it by the
We
hour.
give the attorneys discount, you mark it up $100, you mark it up
Is
50,
that what it is?
so then you're only getting 50 more than you would have got anyway.
That's the retail, that's a weird retail approach. Mark it up before you put it on sale.
That's from a Target.
I think I know.
Good to see you again.
Likewise, I appreciate you all.
Okay, hey, thanks,
And I'll
man.
be back in touch. We'll beat the bush and see what we can do. You think Scott's the toughest sell on it, huh?
Maybe not, no.
I think if I can get Ed on board, maybe.
Well, I think Ed's on board.
That's
I
all.
mean, he was fine with his field. He was happy to see the kids have a safe run to school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got 3 family members on the street, so that's almost
helps too.
half the crowd right there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you. Thanks.
See you.
I would like a little bit of clarification on our gate policy.
That was gonna come up.
There's kind of a run on those.
Yeah, there has been a run. So this is the gate permit that we currently have. And if you will look at condition number 1, they're all signing this as far as
Track vehicle beyond the
Track.
gate.
vehicles only. Now that, I guarantee they're not using tracked vehicles to get back there and take care of this stuff, but they're signing this as far as they will comply with this.
Well, in our conversation, I told you that he was planning to take a pickup and horse trailer
Well,
with
and-
fencing
and-
supplies up to.
And
And I wasn't aware of this.
Well, this is the form that was approved last fall.
Okay.
And so that's where I want some clarification as far as, are we going to do this differently in the fall when the snow is starting to accumulate? We're gonna have a different thing in the spring?
I think we're gonna have to,
I think
because now we
this
have the
particular
section of road
I
plowed.
think you are, because you got those segments that if you wait till the upper road is ready.
Well, and that's, I mean, and this also says Eagle Pass only.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be modified a little bit for what you
Yeah, I
have
thought-
on sign now.
Yeah, I thought we had one for Kemp's Canyon.
We have Eagle Pass only, that's the only one that was authorized last fall to be able to get a key and use.
Yeah, because it was, okay, yeah, let's just modify it. And you could put something, tracked vehicles or approved plan, so that they know, because when the Denning, or was it Denning? Who was the kid, Elliot? When he explained what he was doing, and, knowing that area, that's totally reasonable. He says, I'll stop where it gets muddy, I'll unload it, and either take snow machines or tracked vehicles in the rest of the way.
Is there, I can modify this, I just don't know how far I modify it, and does it cover all these types of things, and so I don't know whether you guys wanna try to modify it and look at what we add, or what we take away, or how we change this. When we started this process, the intent that I thought was to keep people out of there until the roads were not dry enough to drive on. And if that's changed,
Well, that was a one-size-fits-all on a road that has many different sizes.
right,
You know?
and that's what I wanna,
Yeah.
I wanna try to understand where we need to get with the permit and what it looks like
Yeah, because we put this together with the idea of shutting people off and not letting them get back in there and get stuck when it got too bad.
Yeah,
And now I think we need to adapt, because they need sprinkler, like Simmons's. They'll get to the top of the Dugway, that road is plenty dry, and that's where they're gonna do their drilling. Off the road.
yeah, and I agree, I don't know that my crystal ball is good enough to be able to modify this to handle what we need to do, and I don't know if you three wanna help me get to where,
Could you put something in there, or a plan approved, because you'll know what parts are dry, like Simmons's, and then you just, have a place to write in the conditions on that. Wheeled vehicles will be allowed up to X point, because that's all you've got plowed open and dry.
and I can probably modify it to do something like that,
It doesn't
The other
fit-
thing that
it
comes-
doesn't fit
it
into
doesn't-
the engineer's mind, but.
well,
I think.
yes and no, but I mean, it's
I
one
think
of those.
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I wanna be very careful that we don't have, like, 115th East, him coming in and getting a key now because he's getting in to do field work, and the Dugway still isn't clear enough, although that's what he wants to go through that Dugway. So how do we tell one landowner no and another landowner yes?
And that's where I was going. I think you cross out number 1 for spring use, and then you add some wording that authorization is for plowed sections of road only, or authorized sections.
Something that you've looked at it, figure it's dry enough not to hurt it. That one, I mean, you could give them up to the Dugway, but not beyond. And then any damage up the Dugway, if they go ahead and plow through there, they fix. And that's what the Elliott kid said. He says, yeah, I know know if I got up there, he doesn't want it trashed because that's the road everybody uses. And
Yeah.
the guys up there appreciate it, with the exception of Boyd.
What's your time frame? When do you anticipate?
I think by the end of this week, most of the roads this way of Swan Valley will be ready to go.
Including 115th?
And 115 is probably pretty close. They've been working on Birch Creek a little bit more.
Look at the weather.
Well, I have looked at the weather and it is supposed to be colder.
But it's also supposed to be rainy for about 3
Yeah.
days.
So-
that extends,
Well, that extends it, but it's also, I mean, up Fall Creek's not gonna be ready yet on that lower portion off of Snake River Road. But they've gone up through Skyline and working towards Dan Creek this week, and so they were flying through portions of it.
Now the rain's been removed from the forecast.
Yeah, it looks pretty dry right now.
They took the
300
rain
of an
off
inch.
for the next, yeah.
Yeah, it looks dry.
on the weekend, look.
It was supposed to be really
I was
wet,
hoping
but
we were gonna get rained on and knock some of
Yeah,
that
you
snow
get,
down.
if you get another round, this stuff will dries out pretty quick once you plow it.
Yeah.
So it's just a temporary.
It's 2 or 3 weeks of when we're trying to open roads and haven't got them all open. And so that's where it gets challenging to try to fit the conditions with what it is and every road's different, so.
Well, but that's where you've got to have the discretion to say this part of the road is not safe,
Yeah,
not safe.
not passable.
passable or not able to be driven on because of
Not
the conditions,
damaged,
yeah.
And then you'd have to do the 115th and that Dugway, that's always gonna be a problem.
It will always be a
You
problem,
know,
yeah.
if Chapel wants to redo that whole thing, that would be fine too. He can get in there quicker. But you talk
He'll
about
never do it.
expensive, I know.
Yeah. So that's, I wanted to make sure that I mean, if I modify this and bring it back, we'll try to go through this. It is a couple, 3 weeks in the spring. It's a few weeks in the fall that we get into
Like this
stuff.
is, we're in the middle of, you've got 3 different reasons to be in there. The LA kid, he understood what the conditions were, and was willing to do it. Simmons is, there's not really any conditions, because except you don't go beyond your farm. They get in and get their spring work, because you gotta get planted.
Yeah.
And then.
Boyd.
Who is the one? Boyd. He'll never satisfy Boyd. Boyd wants to get in, he doesn't want the gate. That's the only solution he'll ever take. Gallup wants to access into Meadow Creek.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about something that's probably gonna be a while before it's dried up in that bog.
Portions of it, but portions of it are okay right now, so.
Well, but the portion that isn't is the one that's just before you go up the top and down the other side.
Yeah.
Because they'll tear that to pieces if he gets in there with all of these.
And on the Call Dugway, I mean, they got through the Call Dugway and it's drying out, so. I mean, there's certainly bits and pieces of all of these roads where it looks nice and dry over there and right here it's not, so.
Matt Elliott told us that, he said, well, everybody's driving around the gates anyway.
On four-wheelers.
In some of them, yeah. And if they go around on 4-wheelers, this wasn't necessarily to stop the 4-wheelers, but.
That's true. But
They are
the
wheeled
tracked
vehicles.
one has to come off, yeah.
And in the fall though, tracked vehicles.
Track one, it makes
I mean,
sense in the fall and the winter,
Yeah.
but in the spring, yeah, the track should come off. And then I almost think it should be because we don't know, we get a phone call, well, I need to get to Meadow Creek, or I need to get somewhere. We need to know
All we're
from
doing is
you that it's
validating that they're a
okay.
landowner and
Well, and that's, I
right
mean,
to get their dirt.
that's a tough thing because I'm not out there every day, all day, looking at these roads.
No, but just like me, I know the roads and know which spots are gonna be problems, and you would be able to
Yeah,
talk to your guys and say, is this ready?
yeah,
You know, because I was pretty sure that it wasn't gonna be ready above Blaine's house. You know, just that rise in elevation, you probably had an additional 1.5 or 2 foot of snow on top of Kev's.
yeah.
You know?
There always is.
And I know that quite often, if I tell somebody no, they're gonna come to you guys and ask the question anyway.
Yeah.
So that's where I was trying to sidestep that, is like, go to the commissioners, you guys get
So
the
you want us to
permission.
say yes first and then,
Well, I want you to say yes or no first.
Yeah,
But-
yes or no with an asterisk, and the asterisk says.
Well, that's the
here's
thing.
conditions.
I wanna say yes if it's at all possible, but if
Yeah.
you tell me that road, we cannot put anybody on, then I'll tell them no.
Right.
Yeah,
But I need to know that from you. But I need you to be open-minded enough to allow some flexibility.
Yeah.
For a landowner that has to get working, you know?
and I try to be open-minded a lot about this stuff, and there's certain areas where I am very open-minded about trying to work with people. I didn't wanna be the one that says no because of this, and then they come to you anyway.
Yeah. In my mind, there's no reason to let recreationalists in there. None at all. I have no reason to let them in.
Even on
But
four-wheelers.
Well, they're gonna get in anyway.
they're gonna get in anyway, but I'm not gonna give them a key to the gate.
Oh, yeah.
They can get up there. I
I'm
mean,
not gonna
they
give
can
them a
take
key to
their
the gate,
razors
but a
around the
landowner
gate
that
and
has
they're
to
in
get to
there.
his land, I want him to have access.
If
Yeah.
you gave the recreationalists a key to the gate, you might as well open it, because they're the ones that are tearing up.
They are.
And the farmers, the reasonable farmers, are the ones that appreciate that.
Yeah.
They don't want it torn up either.
Yeah, they want a nice road to get in there when it comes time in the spring to go plant.
Yeah.
Okay,
Does that answer it enough? I know we're kind of vague, but.
I'll do some work on this and try to come up with some alternatives for what we can work with people and what we can't, and yeah, if we have a written plan about, if they come to me with a written plan that says, I wanna access my ground on this road through this area, it makes it a little bit better able to determine, okay, yeah, that probably is reasonable or not.
But when they come to us, I mean, you know, the yes we give is their landowner, and we want them to get in there to take care of their land.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest argument, we heard from those guys, and take care of that, and then you got some of them who, that doesn't matter, we just don't want the gate, period.
Yeah,
Oh, that's Boyd.
You know, that's Boyd, you're never gonna make Boyd happy.
well, and I don't want damage to the road, and I do wanna get those landowners access as quickly as we possibly can. I just don't wanna cause more problem for the road maintenance than we
Yeah,
can.
and we support that.
I wish I would've remembered the story that, Jim Sweeter, you know, that farming news, talked about the old farm hand that they had up there when they first got married.
Oh,
Did you ever read that?
I read most of her articles.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but you know, when they first got married, you know, they stay up there on their farm as newlyweds, and he was in the one room cabin with them. And it came fall, they'd load up, head to the valley, wish him farewell, and then go up the next year to see if he survived the winter. I'm serious, I mean, he was that type, and he was usually there, you know, we've come a long way since that philosophy.
Yeah,
You know, just leave them there and let them fend for themselves like he was suggesting.
Tammy's still there.
Yeah, like Tammy.
Yeah.
Have you made it to Blacktail yet?
So they punched a hole through into Blacktail, yes. There's still a lot of snow alongside the road, but they did punch a hole. Craig closed the gate at the top though. And so Craig is trying to keep people out of there, but a hole has been punched through.
But it'll
To
take a
get there.
while to dry out, so it doesn't damage the road.
Well, most of that is paved. I mean, it's a paved road, so if Craig chooses to keep it closed, I don't know how I deal with that, but a hole has been punched through now.
He usually opens it when his staff come, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I know I've had people calling me wanting to put a boat in there.
And I imagine you will, but again,
There's been boats going up
They
that
can get in
way.
Juniper.
they can get in Juniper.
Juniper.
They don't get in Blacktail.
Yeah,
But the fishing, he wants to fish on the Blacktail end, yeah.
yeah. So, as far as road and bridge is concerned, the road's open. As far as Parks and Rec is concerned, it's closed.
Okay.
That's because he's trying to get those signs printed up that limit the horsepower of the boat to 75.
Okay, news to me.
I saw a picture from Peter Polona yesterday, I think, who had that, of Blacktail with that big drift and a guy
Yeah.
standing in the road. Have one of you got that picture?
I don't think I do have that.
You,
Yeah.
I'd like to have a copy of that. Have you guys seen that
That should be
picture?
posted.
It's incredible. There must have been 12 feet of snow,
Over that. There
over
was
12
that.
feet drifted in that. I
Yeah.
mean, it looked like Upper Yellowstone.
Yeah, there was a lot of snow.
Hmm.
I do have a picture of Birch Creek Road that was just taken.
Yeah, we need that one.
Yeah, that almost needs to be archived, that picture, and blown up and put in here.
This was Birch Creek Road yesterday.
Yesterday.
That was headed down the Dugway.
Hmm.
And, yeah, they got stuck pretty bad. But there's
Hate
still a
it when
lot
you
of
get
snow
your big
right
thing
there.
stuck. Oops.
But that's yesterday. So there's still pockets of areas where there's a lot of snow.
Yeah.
You know, it's rare that it's gonna be this late in the year.
Yeah, very rare.
Okay, what else you got?
I think that's all I had on the agenda. So I don't know if Micah had anything.
Could you get us the cost for the demo?
Yeah, I'll go back and I'll get you what it was for that. So.
Yeah, cause if he's wanting to give us like $8,800 credit, I think that's more than enough to cover those disposal fees.
Yeah, I'll let you know what they are. We just went through and adopted it. I just don't remember off the top of my head. So.
Okay.
Just got 3 quick updates.
Okay.
First is from Ursid. Maybe you guys already heard.
That's judicial confirmation.
Yeah, I wanted to read this text from Brian Powell. He just said that Ursid received judicial confirmation for the plant improvements. It's now full steam ahead. Also in that approval was the authorization to move the bond indebtedness from Ammon and Shelley to Ursid. We'll be getting the details to you in the next couple of months. So what that means, Ammon and Shelley both have bonds for the Ursid plant. And those bonds will now be consolidated and they'll be Ursid's bonds. And that's the right thing to do. So that's a big deal for all of us that are involved in that regional facility. The second update is also with Ursid. I forgot to mention this at my last time I was here, but Flagship Homes was at the Ursid meeting 2 weeks ago, and they were requesting annexation into the Ursid district so they could flow to Ursid with their project. So that's a good sign, but they had not filed an application for annexation to Ammon yet, a new
But
application.
they could annex into Ammon and be served by Bonneville, which is right there.
Yeah, they need a lift station, and that's what they're trying to avoid. But I think it's a good sign for them because last time their annexation application came through, that was one of their weak points. They had a lot of problems in that application, but one of the problems was that they hadn't even gone to Ursid for approval of 3,200 homes. And so we kept telling them, you need to get approval. We cannot recommend approval of your application without you being able to sewer somewhere. And they just ignored that and ignored it, and then when the council denied them, that was one of the points on the findings of fact. So that's a good sign, they're listening to us, they're taking our direction, and I hope that, and Ursa will annex them in, there's no question. That's, of course, their decision, but their sewer study showed that they'd be fine being annexed into Ursa. And they have a connection fee that's about $14 million that they'll have to pay Ursa. But they're getting their ducks in a row, hopefully, to reapply with the city of Ammon.
The tone was a little different in my text.
What did he say?
Judicial confirmation approved for our sewer district at full steam ahead now. Almost as good a feeling as when Boise thumbs BYU.
He didn't mention that. Last time.
That's ongoing.
Yeah, I know. Last item I had is, we're getting a few complaints about speeds on Sunnyside. And it's the section that you all control. So I don't know what you want to do about it, but.
Which?
The complaints are from the cemetery up to Founders.
So I just got an email from a lady on that, I sent her back, we have a speed limit sign at 45th East, one by the cemetery, one up by Rancho Villa, and another one, basically as you leave Founders Point area. And having 4 speed limit signs in a 1.5 mile stretch is, to me, more than enough speed limit signs, and
It's
so
an enforcement issue.
I don't believe adding more speed limit signs is the correct thing to do. It's just what I got the request to do. I did send her
Speed
a
limit's
traffic change request.
35?
I did send her
If we
a
go out there and
traffic
enforce
change
it, the
request
bicycles are
form.
gonna get speed limit, speeding.
I don't know if
tickets
she'll
too.
fill that out or not, but if I did a speed study up there, it's not gonna go down.
Judge Watkins.
And, putting up more speed limit signs don't help, so.
Well, and I think even if you lowered the speed limit there, people are still gonna drive that fast.
They're
It's
gonna
just
go
that,
over
it's just that portion of the road, it's always, I mean, I've driven it pretty consistently for
It's
Country
just
road.
got
6 or
roads.
7 years,
Yeah.
and
It
I don't
used
go
to be a really
35
fun
admittedly,
section to
I
go down
mean,
fast.
but nobody
Most
does.
If you do go 35 and I try to go 35, people come up on you
Kids
pretty
running
fast.
into you, yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to pass it along.
Yeah, you can annex Sunnyside if you want,
And we will,
control that, so,
and we will, yeah. Just get all those property owners to
yeah.
request annexation.
That and 60th, and we'll just have a loop around it.
There you go.
I just have one thing, do we have any issue deeding these 3 parcels back to the state? Okay,
What, pick 3 parcels?
On that.
they've got the deeds ready to execute, so they just wanted confirmation as to whether the
They gave
county
us
would
the
do that
full
or not.
lots. We had concern because that creates a depth of green space we don't want to take care of.
They're,
On those
it's
3
these
lots
3
on the
right
south?
here, yeah.
Okay.
So they got, when we got the extra right of way for this project, the excess got deeded to the county, and so we're just gonna deed it back to the state.
So I thought there was something in play where the monument place was supposed to be looking at that.
And that's all
That's
part,
up to them.
that's all part of it, the state
Okay.
needs the properties for the bartering of that, so.
They just needed to get a clarification on the access there.
Okay.
And we had a meeting about it yesterday, and they're fine with right in, right out only on both sides, so I think it'll
Did
work.
you give Austin and Lance an invite to that?
That's what I was just gonna bring up next. We've got that meeting with Ammon tomorrow.
Today,
Today, today?
11:30 today?
I thought it was on Thursday.
No, it's today, I've got it on my
I'm a day
calendar,
off,
it's
just
today.
like this morning at 8 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, cause I sent.
Like you said, that
an email to
meeting
Sean,
today.
'cause we hadn't received any information on what he wanted to even talk about.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was really quite vague still, but we'll just listen and participate.
I asked him as well, he's like.
Did
"Yeah,
everything
agenda
work good
tomorrow?"
for you yesterday? over there.
Really good.
So it is,
Really well.
do you want me to try to be there then, I guess?
Especially you two, Dave, if he's, David, if he's available. We just need to order enough.
I think Kayla's got it covered.
Okay. Yeah, because we're gonna get it out for everybody.
Or where's it
Yeah,
at?
I'm planning on being there.
Our conference room up in Elections.
Election.